But this week, who's been trending hard is our dear sister Monique, the comedian. She went. She was talking about these young ladies and trying to just have wealth. Jamie, can you play the video for the people?
I've been seeing it, not just at the airport. I've been seeing it at the store, at the mall. I've been seeing sisters showing up with these bonnets and headscarves and their slippers. And the question that I'm having to you, my sweet babies, when did we lose pride in representing ourselves? When did we step away of let me make sure I'm presentable when I leave my home? Let me make sure I'm representing the family I created so that if I'm out in the street, I look like I have pride in myself. And I'm not saying no full face of makeup. I'm not saying no full front lace frontal. I'm not saying none of that. All I'm saying is, could you please comb your hair? And if you don't want to comb your hair, they got enough shit out here now, baby, where you can style yourself up and look like you have pride. I'm not saying you don't have pride, but the representation that you're showing, someone would have to ask you to know that you had it. So my sweet babies, for the ones that do call me auntie, I love you for real. Even the ones that don't, I love y'all asses too. But the babies that say auntie to me, please listen to auntie. Always have pride in your representation of you. It's not to get a man. It is just your representation of you, my sweet babies. So I'm just giving y'all a warning. If I see you in the streets, in the airport, in the Walmart, and you got a bonnet on and you got slippers on and you looking like what the fuck, Nikki gonna tap you and say, hey, baby girl, show you what you worth. Show you what you deserve. So all of those posts that you see celebrities putting out there saying, hey, queen, hey, queen, hey, queen. Well, can we start putting it into action? So I'm asking our wiser sisters, when we see our little babies out there looking like they just don't care, and I'm not saying y'all don't, it looks like it. Can we just tap them and say, baby girl, you deserve more than what you're showing. Represent you with pride, my babies. And that may be a part of us helping our community. Because if you look like you don't give a damn, how you going to be treated? So when I say, hey, queen, I can only say it to the sisters that it belongs to. Because a lot of us are still in queen training. So if you're in queen training, stop being fearful of taking your position. And queens don't walk around with bonnets and headscarves and slippers and pajamas. That's for the house. When you go outside, represent you, baby, like you are worthy and you deserve the title of hey, queen. Nikki love y'all for real. And I ain't never gonna BS you. Stop wearing them damn bonnets and headscarves looking like don't nobody give a damn about you, nor do you give a damn about yourself. Because you beautiful. So represent it. I love y'all for real, my babies.
So before we comment on that, we have a special guest tonight. We don't have a female perspective because it was 4 guys, and we don't want to say that we're attacking the sisters. So tonight we have a special guest. Is my niece, my favorite niece, Miss Brittany, aka Keisha If You're Nasty. Jamie, can you bring in my niece, Brittany?
Hang on. Am I representing with pride today?
Oh, hell no, man. Hell no.
Oh, my God. I don't want to do the body in the street.
You goddamn right. Don't do that, my favorite niece. Oh, man. You scared me for a second.
Oh, man. Yo, what's up, Britt? Very good. Very funny. Very funny.
Hey, guys.
That was good.
Hey, what's up, Brittany?
So, Brittany, we want to get a female perspective on that. What do you think? Like, guys, we know we're going to say, well, I can't know what everybody's going to say. I know what I want to say. But, Brittany, your perspective on this, on the comments from Monique.
Now, I don't usually side with Monique, but she is absolutely right. And it's absolutely ridiculous. The bonnets are everywhere, okay? The Walmart, my students wear them to school, and I'd be like, ma'am, Where you going? You can't come in this way. Like, the bonnets are getting ridiculous. The scarves, the furry slippers, it's tacky. And the biggest part is the purpose of a bonnet is to what?
Sleep in it.
Protect your hair when you sleep. You're not sleeping at Walmart, sis. Why you got your bonnet on? It doesn't make any sense. And these women are out here fighting against it like, oh, this shows that you are policing Black women. No, that's not what this is.
No. And they say like, and they want to say they're going to airplanes. They say they want to be, when they get to their destination with their hair to look fresh.
No, what you do. So again, are you sleep when you go through TSA and you doing it? No, you're not. So what you need to do is put your bonnet in your bag. When you get on the plane and everything is all settled, you can throw it on. We get it. You're going to sleep. As soon as you step off that plane, take your bonnet off. It's no reason.
You know what I starting to see that bonnet as? It's like the female do-rag now. That's how I kind of feel.
And there's a lot of people saying if we're telling women they can't wear bonnets, men shouldn't wear I agree.
No,
I don't think
I agree with that too. I don't like my son when he was waving his hair, whatever, he wasn't allowed to go outside in his head with no do-rag on. That's right. And D, you can attest to that. D, no, I don't play that. The thing is, you wasn't going outside with it. You ain't going to school with it. Now, if you in the house and you sleeping, yeah, go ahead, no problem. But you're not going outside with it.
Yo, Brittany's grandfather, my father, everybody on all the men on my block, we can wear our hats backwards, can wear no do-rags. I remember when I went to baseball practice and I had the joint under my baseball cap.
Yeah.
Take that shit off.
Yeah.
But see, you took it back to grandpa, which is a different generation where, especially the Southern generation of Blacks, they really had pride. When you stepped out the house, you never knew what was going to happen, who you were going to meet. It's like your mother said, don't wear no ripped underwear because you never know what's going to happen. The police pull you over. I mean, in the accident, they got to cup you open. You want to have some good underwear on. This is the thing. People can't see that, but you just took pride in your appearance. And no one cares anymore. And it trickles down because the same moms that come up to the school cursing and yelling, they got their bonnets on. So you can't expect their kids to understand why you're telling them not to wear their bonnet.
And the thing is, like she said, the best was a thing of self-pride. Just to have around yourself, like you represent your family outside. Like why you always looking like you ready to fight? You got a bonnet on. You got I don't understand the pajamas either. Like I noticed that when I started working in high school, like the early 2000s. How do you wear pajamas to school? Do you go back in bed with those same pajamas? Like it just look nasty.
I always feel like when I see pajamas, you ain't take no bath. I don't even participate in pajama day at work because it's just like, you stink. I'm not going to be around you.
But see, I think you guys are talking about. I think you guys are talking about effect and not cause, and there's a cause to it. You know, and that's why everybody. I think you're dealing with a lot of people who really don't know who they are. So what they're trying to do is have somebody assign a value to it. So everybody walking around calling each other king and all the stuff like that. I mean, it sounds good, but I mean, realistically, you can call somebody whatever they want. It depends on how they feel about themselves internally. And so you have almost this herd mentality. Everybody, I know a lot of people that developed a lot of these trends from jail, you know, with the not wearing a belt in jail, the sagging pants, and, you know, the do-rags and all those different things. A lot of this stuff has come from, you know, people coming home from jail and their cousins and stuff like that. Because remember, in jail, the guys would wear that a lot. And then the rappers made it very famous. It just started, you know, escalating. And so I think when you have that, she's saying, you know, you're worth being a queen or you're worth whatever like that. If that's not internal, if it doesn't come from the inside, it's not going to emanate or resonate outside. It's just not. And that's the issue. And somebody dropped the ball. Whoever raised this generation is definitely accomplice. Y'all
gotta remember, this is a generation that was raised by crackheads, so I'm not sure how much y'all want. No, you're right. Y'all want a lot from a crackhead now. They was raised stuff I said.
You're right. You're right. If you had somebody, crackheads are not only, and I hate to say crackhead, I know we just, you know, but if you were drug addicted in the 80s and then you had children, you could really be a grandparent now. You know what I'm saying? And so, and then there was no connection to the South. When that broke, a lot of, like my mother said, when she came from South Carolina, they wouldn't like do chores on a Sunday, or they would not, you know, leave the house without your bed made up, or all that stuff has changed once we came to either the northern states or whatever. Just a lot has changed culturally. And then pop culture has just made it very acceptable to just be radical and not give a crap. That's just what it does.
Yeah, we have some good comment from Brad. Good comment from Brad. I want to
everything goes back to buck breaking. No leader in the house hold to stop that behavior. You know, and that's real. You know what? That's funny though. But you mentioned something, Kelvin, about what generation is to blame. These are our kids, man. You know, so I mean, let's look at it. You know, so the buck stops with us. We need to maybe stop our generation, the generation that needs to really start looking at the mirror. You know what I mean? So and we start talking about women wearing the bonnets and all that. These are the younger girls, you know, but look at these fellas that they're age too. They walking around with their pants off their ass, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, doing things that we wouldn't have got caught dead, you know, wearing clothes that we would, you know what I mean? I'm old enough to remember when black preppy was a thing, you know what I mean? And we so far from that, you know, even going back a little bit further, even with the beginnings of our little hip hop clothing and everything. You remember the clothes we used to wear? We never used to wear our stuff hanging off our ass and all that kind of stuff. You might flip it a certain way, you know, but it was, you know, to show your affiliation, but you know, with culture, but that was it, you know. So I mean, that's just collectively, I think we got a situation where we just have collectively a lack of self-respect.
Yeah, so it was a few things that happened. Like we had we were the first generation of being selfish. We sold drugs to each other. We became very selfish. We became glamorized with money and stuff like that. You know, that's one thing with our generation that we did drop the ball on that. We didn't take those same dinner time lessons and bring them and give them to our offspring. That's one thing. But somebody, and I just want to do some of the comments. Somebody said about other races do wear pajamas. I did work in a mixed school. A lot of other races do wear pajamas, so that shit ain't cool. But then, and then we had another comment. We had another comment from Baby Girl.
Well, right now we're not worried about other races. We're worried about us.
Exactly.
We're worried about us.
It's not a race thing. I think that a lot of women were attacking Monique, and I listened to some podcasts of some very esteemed women like Demetria Lucas, and they're saying like, oh, policing Black women, and this is a Black thing, and we're only doing this because we feel like what looks proper or presentable in the eyes of whitey. And it's like, no, this is not a color thing. This is class. Like, this is tacky. You don't come out of the house in pajamas, bonnets, sleepwear at all, no matter what color you are. And I really hate that it's turning into this, we're trying to present ourselves for the white America. No, you're just trying to present yourself for the world, regardless of color.
This is about self-esteem and pride. That's what this is about.
Yeah.
This is not about color.
But they changed the narrative. They changed the narrative, Rod, to feel like anytime you critique something, there should be a negative toward it. Even with British, they're talking about policing. Nobody's talking about policing. They have a right to do it. That's the problem. So what happens is this. First of all, any race of people, and this is just my opinion, any race of people that will have babies by anybody without a standard or criteria is going to be subject to the downfall of their race. I'm not saying which race that may be. I'm just saying if anybody is like, no matter who you are, whether you can read or not, whether you've been incarcerated, whether you're not trying to do something, whether you're in a gang, whatever, I will lay down and have a child with you and start a family, you're going to have problems. Not saying I'm talking about any race in particular. I'm just saying if that happens, then you're going to be subject to that. Whoever that race may be.
Like two things. So Kelvin, you said something that was very profound to me. When you said people keep calling themselves queen and king. I've never seen a king wear pajamas. I've never seen the king look sloppy. I don't even if the king of a little small village in Africa, he always wearing the best, whatever clothing they wear, he's had the best of that and wears it with pride.
The king and the queen, the king and the queen are the two best dressed people in the whole palace. Period. So the thing is, you're right. Like, how can you compare that to king and queen? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
The other thing I got a problem with too is, you know, this is just not the pajamas, the hair, the do-rags, and the pants sagging. It's how these youth are walking around talking in front of adults. You know what I'm saying? The language that they're using. I remember if I was around older people or walked in a store and older people were there, I would never say any profanity, curse, say anything vulgar or whatever. They don't care. They just don't care. You know?
And Brittany, a quick question. Producer Jamie told me to ask you this question. What would you do if Monique tapped you at the airport?
She not tapping me because I was never going with a bonnet.
But so what do you think? What do you think? So you think people react to Monique different in the street?
I think Monique's reputation right now, especially in the Black community, isn't as great as it once was. And some of these young people wouldn't even know who Auntie Monique is because she's just a different generation of a comedian. So I don't think it would be received well. Kind of back to what Rodney was just speaking on. This new generation, they don't have respect. It's not Respect is not a thing. They don't care who you are. If you're an elder, you come up to a young man and you're trying to speak to him like, yeah, you know, correct yourself or this. They're going off on sight. Mm-hmm. So
they might even assault them.
Exactly. That's what I mean when they're going off. You see them, they fighting in the airport already. So she's just another woman they going to fight in the airport.
Well, the two airlines that fight on most of the time is Spirit and Southwest. So those things I ain't taking. I'm telling you right now. But also, Sammy, can you bring up Achilles' comment? I want to go back to that. I want to also go back to Monique's comment. Not Monique, the comedian, but yeah.
Aquila. That's Aquila.
Aquila. Sorry, Aquila. Smart pan, my sister.
Black women cannot take criticism.
I think so. I think they're ready to fight because the thing is, we listen to Big Mama and got that wisdom. These young sisters now are ready to fight. Even the young boys are ready to fight.
See,
you know.
Yeah, it's the thing is it's like we just saying this issue is about respect. Like you look at people probably look at the four of us and they say, "Oh, look at these four old heads on here talking," but they don't look at this as wisdom and experience. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the thing is, there's something I could teach you that could take you far because guess what? We already been through it. Right. We already seen it. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, us correcting you and making sure it's because we care and we want to see our people advance. But they don't see it that way. They see it as though you disrespecting them.
I think it's important though.
Monique is right. They made hold it though, Brittany. If Beyonce came out and said, "Don't wear that shit," it's done.
They won't wear it. They would. Yeah.
It's always it's never the message. It's the messenger. Always remember that. Correct. Why do these people say some good stuff, but you said a lot of stupid stuff before? Now we just have no respect for anything you say is invalid. But it's definitely the messenger. But I'm sorry,
that was Keisha. My bad.
Aquila's comment about Black women can't take criticism. I think we have to be careful with that though. Because there's this stigma that Black women are supposed to be so strong and not have feelings and never speak up on how they really feel. We're supposed to just take it with a smile, right? And just push through. So I do think that we are in an era where we do take things a little more sensitive. And that's just our world right now, period. But especially with Black women, because we just feel like no one looks out for us. So I do get that part of it a little bit. But to me, this isn't criticism. It's just common sense and common decency at this point.
Yeah. She's talking about the football player. Yeah, the football player went up on Cam Newton and he got G-checked. See, the thing with young cats, the thing like Rodney said it best to me. Like, they don't want to get the wisdom from us. And they can talk about like when they go, and Rodney, you work with kids and I work with kids. And the 16-year-old told me, I'm going to go talk to my OG. And I was like, who's your OG? This motherfucker 20.
Yeah, he's 20. Yeah.
You 20, bro. You don't piss straight. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You don't even piss straight yet. You know what I'm saying?
In other words, you got the blind leading the blind. There's absolutely no guidance, and that's the thing. So let's say this. So hypothetically, all right. So Monique makes this statement, right? Regardless if you know her as a great comedian or she old school, whatever the case is, the last thing anybody's gonna think is she genuinely cares about us. That's the last thing we're gonna check. Every other, oh, she hating, oh, she ain't young no more, oh, she this, that, and third. You don't know this, that. That's the thing. And it's never, I never forget this. And I put myself on blast. I never forget this. I was probably the first time I went to buy a suit myself. I was probably like 18 years old. And I played myself because I went to Jamaica Avenue. All right, because you can tell how old I was.
Oh my God!
And it was when those rayon suits was out, cheap rayon suits with different colors. I go to buy the suit. And this Arab guy is selling me the suit. A Black man walks by. He does not know me. He says, "Brother, don't let them sell you that suit. That suit too small for you. This, that, and the third, blah, 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 whatever." I'm like, wow, look at him. He out there hating this, that, and the third, blah, blah. They sold me that same small suit, made me pay about twice what it was worth in alterations and this, that, and the third. And I just never forgot. The man tried to tell me. Yeah. The man genuinely cared. The man was just trying to say, brother, just listen to me. But no, I couldn't at that moment. And that's what I'm saying. And what we've got to do is understand that. Now, I was 18 years old. You got somebody that's 40 years old going to be upset with what Monique said. You see what I'm saying? Monique, it's not going to make a difference to her life whether you do this or not. But I agree with her 100%.
Yeah.
No, and she said it with so much sincerity and kindness too.
You know, it's like the piggyback off something D said. D was talking about, you know, how these young dudes see other young dudes as OGs. Back when I was coming up, you know, and I wasn't always the greatest of a kid or whatever. And I always remember guys that I considered OGs. First of all, they went through stuff. They had wisdom, and they would tell you, listen, young blood, that ain't for you. You get away from that, or you don't do that, or don't hang with them. They're going to get you in trouble or whatever. Now you tell somebody that, they're ready to knock your head off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
And what does OG stand for?
Original gangster.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Half the rappers. I was thinking about this the other day. The rappers, Escobar.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
everything is gangster related, right? Everything is
negativity. We embrace we embrace criminal activity. We embrace negativity.
We didn't do none of that.
We name ourselves after dictators. The thing is, it's just crazy, man. It's just
lack
crazy.
of identity. At the end of the day, you're still talking about self-esteem. You're still talking about not knowing who you are.
And we guess what else, Kelvin? We had this conversation too. We're the only race that a derogatory statement can be said against us, or we say against ourselves, and nothing happens. Everybody else say something messed up about another race, and guess what? We canceled. It's over. It's dead.
You know what I'm saying? Not integrate a Jewish or homosexual slur into pop culture. No.
That's right. That's right. You can say that. You can say that N word till you fall down, and nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen.
Absolutely nothing at all. Nothing. You know.
No, so, we're in a place now, man, where we have some decisions to make, man. Regarding what's important to us, I think, Monique, I understand the message of, I always dug the sister. I dug the sister going back to the whole, I think, I'm strange that way, maybe it was a lot of the reason why people kind of got off the Monique bandwagon was the reason I got on it. You know what I mean? I always took it as her trying to, stand up for herself and saying, hey, it's okay for you to stand up for yourself, to know your worth and all of that. But, so other people, took some of what she said in a different light, you know what I mean? But I think that through it all, what's consistent is that she is trying, even with this, is that she wants people to know their self-worth and act accordingly. So,
but see, Derek, though, that's the thing, and I think that's what Brittany touched on, and this is what we have to do as a community. Whether or not you like the person, recognize when somebody's telling you something that's right. Yeah. Whether you're a Monique fan or not, sometimes somebody's just telling you something that is right. My father used to tell me, like, look, you're a grown man. I can tell you what to do. I'll tell you what I would do, though. At the end of the day, you have to make your own decision. It does not look good to be walking around like that. And sometimes it does look like you don't care. We are in a community where you'll go get a tattoo on your face and your neck, and then somebody can't get a job, this, that, and the third. No matter what, at the end of the day, you are in this society. You are in Western civilization. It is the bottom line. It is a wrap. And that we've got to deal within these parameters somewhere, and that's just it. And guess what? When you're in the barbershop and you say it, then I had a dude tell me one time, lay off the black man. Lay off the black man. In other words, at the end of the day, now you have this thing where it's like we're victims because somebody is pointing out something. Sometimes it's just foul. You do not walk out in the street with a toothbrush in your mouth. Not walk out there half dressed. It makes no sense.
Hold on.
Go
to the comments. I want to go ahead, Rob.
Yeah. I'm sorry, D. Sammy, can you bring that last comment up? Because I want Brittany to address that comment. What does she think about it?
Go ahead.
With Aquila?
Yeah, this one right here. Yeah.
She said, unfortunately, I've never met a black woman who could take criticism, correction, or anything like that. I think it's hard to say never. That's a big statement to make. Because it's not all black women, and that's probably just Aquila's experience with the black women she has been around. Mm-hmm. I don't meet too many white women that take criticism. Well, right. I just think it's a woman thing, or an ego thing, period. I think this isn't criticism, though, and I think it's important to look at what Keisha said. These women know it ain't right. They know it's not right. It's just like, well, you're not going to tell me what. It's more so of us not wanting to be told what to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another thing, here I go with the money. Let's trace back and see who's making these bonnets. That's what I want to do. I want to find out who's making money. Just like we traced back and found out who was making the do-rag. It wasn't us.
We know who's selling them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We know who's selling them.
Yeah. So, Monique Ent's question is: do you guys? I believe. I don't think Tyler Perry and Oprah has anything to do with this. I don't think it was going to affect them on that. That road, that sale, everybody know. I think Jamie put in on our private chat to people and saying, I think black people mad at Monique when she told them to boycott Netflix.
Yeah, I don't think. First of all, I don't think for her question. I don't think we can. And Brittany's point is well taken. We can't just have sweeping absolutes. Nothing's just. It's not everybody. Now she can make the statement. I've never met a black woman. That you can say that. You just can't say all black women. Whatever. I'll say this.
Well, she said I never met. Yeah, she said
right. That's what I'm saying. You can say that.
But in Brittany's excuse me, Calvin. In Brittany's defense, she just said about it may be the people she hangs around.
Yeah,
right. What I'm saying is there were two comments. One was black women can't take criticism. The next one was I've never met. So there's two distinctions there, and one can be true, and one does not necessarily have to be true. What I'm saying is this: none of us like criticism, right? But there's something different between not liking it and accepting it. There are certain things about me that the guys can say, "Hey, Kelvin, this, that, and the third. Look at it," and they can be right. And what happens is this. We come from a lot of people. Oftentimes, I've always said this. Some people are more interested in being heard than being right. Is that I have the right to say something or right to do something. And I don't want to feel like you're infringing upon it where it is still true. You see what I'm saying? And that's the bottom line.
The thing with me with
girl's statement is very important though. Black women are born being criticized. Our hair at school, our body. I mean, at work, we can wear the same dress that someone else who doesn't have a shapely body can wear, and we're criticized with it and told we can't wear that. And it's like, I'm wearing the same thing she's wearing. Our hair, we can't wear our natural hair to some office buildings for a long time. They had to make a law saying you could wear your natural hair. So I do think that we are criticized very high, and I just think we're in a sensitive era where now we're not taking.
The thing with me with criticism, right? Like, to me, I don't mind taking criticism. The issue is I look at where it's coming from. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it's coming from a person that I respect, I admire, somebody that raised me or whatever, but if some loser comes along and criticizes me, it rolls right off me and I just tell them, get the fuck out of here. But the bottom line is I always look at where that criticism comes from. Is it coming from a place of you really hating on me, or do you really love me? That's how I look at it.
I think Monique went through a thing where she was sort of leaning on something that I guess it wasn't necessarily there. I think it's kind of being illustrated right now. Black people are not a monolithic thought. You know, we don't all think the same. We don't all feel the same. She was when she was going through her situation with Netflix and everything, I think she was coming from a place of, hey, you know, I'm Monique. I'm a person. I'm someone we can rally around and have this ideal or whatever is ideal, and maybe we can rally around me. Around that, and a lot of people didn't take to that, you know, and we just believe differently, you know, whether it just be, you know, I don't want to give up my $10 subscription for Netflix, or, you know, I just don't feel you, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like we're seeing that right now just play out in real time, you know. So
here I go with the money again.
Keisha, they not showering at all, girl.
The thing is, I kind of admire what Monique did, because Monique took a big hit in the pocket for what she stood up for. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, you know, you got a lot of people that basically they're going to bow down, do what they got to do, say what they got to say, dance. They got to put taps on their shoes because they don't want to affect their bottom line. Like, Monique took a big hit. She took a big financial hit for what she stood up for.
Also, we have to remember Monique already had a lot of backlash about work in the business, period. A lot of people already said she's nasty to work with, she's hard to work with, she doesn't fulfill commitments. So you weren't coming to the table with a proven track record. Also, you hadn't did shows in 15 years. These white folks at Netflix don't know who Monique is. And you
they did blackball her too, Brittany, for a little while. They blackballed
her. Yeah, exactly. But my point is, I don't think Monique took the right approach in the beginning of that. I just think it was, you're asking for all this money, but where's the numbers? We need to see the numbers.
Correct.
The numbers
I agree.
Today. For white people, it's business. We don't care about the color. Right now, it's not about your color when it comes to Netflix.
Correct.
It's strictly business. And you're not going to bring us this type of business. So why do you deserve this check? And she couldn't prove that.
No, it's about a color. The color is green. That's what they care about. They care about if you want to bring that money. You're correct.
She's not bringing at that time.
And you're right. I can't remember what was the white female she tried to compare numbers
Amy
to.
Schumer.
There you go. She didn't have Amy Schumer's numbers. I do agree with that. That's what I think she was wrong about. But like I said, I still respect her stance because she took a beaten financially.
But you stand on your ground by yourself. You was telling the whole black like Netflix. What? This is what we not going to do. At least Dave Chappelle didn't say abandon Netflix. He said just don't watch my show.
Yeah. So with Brittany, with that said, man, listen, I love you, my favorite niece, for coming on. We gotta move on to the show. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for Brittany go to bed early. She's one of them young people that be in bed.
I'm putting this right back on, but I'm
She's always the first one to go to sleep, man. Y'all kids can stay up. She be out in bed, knocked out early, man. So
that's how you stay looking young. That's why you stay looking young, you know.
Yeah. So Brittany gotta get them teach some badass kids out there in Baltimore.
Teach the hood kids in the morning.
Yeah. So my favorite niece, thanks for coming on, giving your perspective on things, man.
Brittany, all love, Brittany, all love.
You keep doing it, queen. Now you a queen.
Right. Yeah. Y'all follow Keisha Chronicles. I got a podcast coming this summer in June. Well, we are in June, sometime in June. Check me out on Keisha Chronicles on Chronicles with the K on Instagram.
And listen, and then see how Nick Rose late. We already in June. Somebody's coming in June. That's that native shit.
It wouldn't be Keisha if she ain't put a little black on it now. She'll get there. All right.
Somebody said Brittany needs to be added to the lineup.
Let's do it, Brittany. Let's do it. Let's mix our audience together. Get them young folks with us, and we get the old folks with y'all. Give y'all some wisdom.
we're gonna
not them young black women. They're not gonna take that criticism now. She didn't
All right, my favorite niece.
All right, good night, guys.
All right. Rodney's in the middle.
All time.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask for extra money for sure. You saw that.
That was a topic right there, man. That was a good one.
Yeah, the Applejack bun.
Applejack bun is word. Them shit's got them. Everybody looks like they fucking chefs. Them big ass bonnets on. You know, they come out and make some cookies and shit. Them big ass fucking chefs on. Some big chef hats on. I can't stand them shit.
Nobody can cook. Nobody can cook.
Nah, it's everywhere. Everywhere's a bonnet. The number one place you see them joints on is Spirit Airlines. Yeah. And you better bring your Vaseline.
So wait a minute, did it replace the shower cap?
Yes. But remember, I'm gonna go. This for people that's out of state and Uptown Harlem, right? You know, we used to be in these streets. Yeah. The girls used to rock those doobies all the time.
Yeah.
And never they wear the doobie, get the hair done, have the pins in them, and never take the shits out. So we never got we never saw their hairstyles.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Correct.
That was horrible.
Yeah,
you pay for it, you wear the doobie for 2 weeks, and you go back to the hair salon to get the doobie again.
Yeah.
It was insane. Insane, man.
But the thing is, it is basically becoming like a uniform. It's basically the pajama pants, the furry slippers, and the bonnet.
And got those some big eyelashes on.
And yeah, the big shit. Yeah. Tarantula joints.
I don't even know how the motherfuckers hold their eyes up with them shit so heavy practicing. You know what I'm saying? Weightlifting your eyelash.
They be talking to you with the low eyes because those shits are so heavy. Yeah.
Listen.